Welcome to another episode of Our Time with Mr. Dillon. Hello, kids. Hello, Charlie. Well, it's great to see you today. Today we're going to look at something that we're going to learn a lot more about. Today let's look at math. Math is fantastic. I love math. Charlie loves math, right Charlie? Oh yeah. Charlie loves math. We're going to focus on what math really is. Math, to me, is simply solving problems. Period. It really doesn't matter what the problem is. We just need to use perseverance, not giving up, and I bet you we can find out a way to solve that problem. Someone very close to me would always say when we face problems, he'd say, not a problem, because he knew we were going to use our brains to try to figure it out. We just figure it out, Charlie. You figure it out. Problems can be done in many different ways. The key to figuring out that problem is to find one way that really makes sense to you and then go for it. To figure out that one way that really makes sense to you is by solving it maybe in more than one way. One way to solve problems is by counting. I mean, Charlie here, he loves to count things. He's really good at it, and he definitely has his own way of doing it. Interesting, Charlie. You are truly one special ape. When I attempt to solve problems, I use my own method. It's called 1, 2, 3 mastery. Working with my students, we're looking at how to solve problems in math. We would always come up with one really good way. I'd say, good job. And after a while, we thought, well, couldn't we solve that another way? So we thought, let's solve it a second way. And I thought, well, that's great. And then I thought, well, do you think you could solve it a third way? And wouldn't you know it, they solved it a third way. 1, 2, 3, mastery. If you can solve a problem one way, that's good. If you can solve a problem 2 ways, that's great. If you can solve things 3 ways, I bet you really understand what that problem is and how to figure it out. Hey Charlie, I got an idea. Why don't we look at a math problem and solve it 3 different ways? Let's go. All right, guys, let's go ahead and do some mastery. We're going to start simple and get more and more complicated. Let's start with this problem. Three plus 5 equals 8. We just showed this in one way. So let's go ahead and try to show this addition sentence, this equation, in another way. Let's try dots. Okay. How many dots is this all together? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Eight. There's another way of showing it. Let's try a third way. Let's use a number line. All right, we're going to start with 0. Let's count 3. 1, 2, 3. There's 3. 3 jumps. Let's count 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5. Put them together. What do you get? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Equals 8 again. That's a third way. What, you want to help counting? Okay, I understand, buddy, but just let me do this. All right, let's get a little more complicated. Let's take our 3 and our 5, our equals, and our 8, and let's go ahead and make them 2-digit numbers. 30 plus 50 equals 80. Okay, let's show it in a different way. 10, 20, 30. Each bar is a 10. 10, 20, 30. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. 50, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 80. Total of 80. We just showed this addition sentence, this equation, in a second way. Let's do a third way. Okay, here we go. Count to 30. 10, 20, 30. Let's count to 50. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. That's your 30. That's your 50. You combine them, 30 plus 50 equals 80. 1, 2, 3, mastery. I know. Let's get a little bit larger numbers. We still have our 3, 5, and 8, but now let's go ahead and make them 3-digit numbers. 300 plus 500 equals 800. That's our number sentence. That's our equation. Can we show this equation in a second way? Of course we can. Let's draw it. 100 that's 300. That's 500. Let's see if it still equals 800. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800. 300 plus 500 equals 800. There's a second way. Can we show a third way? There we go. Let's count to 300. 100, 200, 300. Let's count to 500. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. There's your 300. There's your 500. Put them together, what do you get? 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800. Here they are again. 1, 2, 3. Mastery. I know. Let's try the same couple numbers that we used from before. So 5 and 3. But now we're going to count it by groups. 5 times 3. Well, I know 5 times 3 is actually just 3 5s. 5, 10, 15. But how do we know that I'm right? Could we show this in a different way? Well, we just said 5, 10, 15. We could count 5, 10, 15. 5 times 3 is still 15. There's your 3 numbers. That's a second way. Could we show it in a third way? What if we decided to divide it? Divide it is counting down by groups. Let's take our 15 and let's divide it by 3. There's 15. There's 3. What do you think goes here? That's right, 15 divided by 3 equals 5. Oh, look at that pattern again. Now you might be saying, well, how do you really know you got that one? Well, you could show a fourth way. Why don't we count down by 5s? 15, 10, 5. So it's 15, 10, 5. Wouldn't you know it, look at that. We end up again with that number. 1, 2, 3, 4. Master some more. Got it. Let's try to master that multiplication in a different way. Let's start with our number sentence, our equation. And we remember from before, 5 times 3 equals 15. Well, how can I show that another way? Well, why don't we use a ruler? I'm going to measure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches. Well, that's 1 5, 5 inches. Look at that. That's our line segment. Well, what if I did another line and made that by 5 inches too? This is also 5 inches. Well, if this is 5 inches and this is 5 inches, what do you think this would be if I connected that line? That's right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches. Hey, look at that. 5 times 3 equals 15. I see 3 5s. 5, 10, 15. What's the distance around this shape? That's right, 15 inches. That's called perimeter, when you measure around a shape. Speaking of shapes, what shape is that? That's right, that's a triangle. So now we just showed this in a second way. Could we show this in a third way? Sure we can. Why don't we go ahead and see how many 5s we have? 1, 2, 3. 5 plus 5 plus 5 equals, guess what? 15, because we know what perimeter is when you measure around a shape. Well, look at that. I see 5 times 3, 3 different ways. 1, 2, 3, mastery. Ran out of ink. Be right back, Charlie. Hey, Charlie? Hey, what are you doing? Huh. Ooh. You know what, bud? I kind of watched you. You're off by 1, but good try anyway, man. Hey, Charlie. Nothing personal, pal. Charlie, what are you thinking about? It's not worth it, man. Think about it. Charlie, okay, I've had enough, man. Okay? Oh. Hey. Oh. Whew. Well, I hope everybody learned ways that you could solve problems. I definitely learned something. It's always to keep an eye on this guy. You know what I'm talking about, man. Sheesh. Remember to try to solve problems in more than one way. That way you are always truly using your mind. 1, 2, 3, mastery is awesome. The best part when using mastery is that you're gonna have a much better chance of remembering how you attempted to solve that problem, and then you can apply it to future problems that you may face. Remember, the key to solving all this really is perseverance. Just don't give up. You have nothing to lose. The only thing you really have to lose is time. Tell you one thing, Charlie, I am definitely looking forward to our next episode. Our next episode is going to be another directed draw, and the focus will be on a certain character. And this character has a little bit of difficulty putting the technology down. Know what I mean, Charlie? In fact, I'll save that for another time. Take care. What? Oh man, are you okay?